What's going on, everyone? So we got to talk about what just happened in Baby Doge. I mentioned this on my last Baby Doge video that we are going to do some stuff like this, and on the ones before that, and we did exactly that. We pumped so hard inside of this right now. So right now we're at 8Z 1800, doing very well, up 4% for the day. So it did go down a little bit, and as you can see up here, we kind of peaked out around 19. Well, actually around 8Z2 is really where we peaked out. You can see all the way up here at 8Z 2060. Just doesn't show it here on CoinGecko, but we did peak out very much high. And you can also see on every single time period we're up 50% in the last 7 days, 40% in the last 14 days, 54% in the last 30 days, 5.8% in the last year, 50 million in trading volume. And you can also see that we had a lot of volume when we were peaking out here. We actually went all the way up to 90 million and even past 100 million inside of volume. So we're doing pretty good here inside of Baby Doge. We were doing very well, and now you can kind of see a little bit of a consolidation period, especially now that Bitcoin is doing its little consolidation. You can see here 104K Bitcoin. It's kind of slowly but surely moving upwards. So we're almost back to our all-time highs with Bitcoin, which was at 108K. All it takes is one more breakout to pass the all-time highs. And like I mentioned before, that happens, we're probably going to end up trending towards 119, 120K. And then if it continues to be bullish after that, breaking about 135K. And anyways, let's keep going over this. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. But look at what we got here. This is actually pretty crazy. Look over here at our MACD. So our MACD is doing very good. And right now we are seeing that we're crossing, which could indicate that we're actually trending downwards. Looking at the MACD here, it's very easy for this to kind of spiral out of control and for more bearish bars to come here on that MACD wave, right? So it's possible that we are going to go down a little bit. We are actually in overbought territory here on the MACD. So it's very much possible that we go down a little bit longer. But remember, when you're in overbought territory on the MACD, it could stay in overbought territory for a long time. And just like it can stay in oversold territory for a good minute too, it can stay in overbought territory just as long. So, yeah, we had a lot of selling here. If you actually look, it's kind of almost similar, but it was hardly any buying to really bring it up there anyway. There wasn't enough volume to really judge it, is pretty much what I'm saying. And the last time we had volume like this inside of Baby Doge was back at the end of December, or at the end of December, end of last year, 2024. You can see going into this year, we had a lot of purchasing volume. It's the last time we had significant volume like that. And you can see it was a way larger pump, right? So we haven't had something like this in a while, but it was a way larger pump back then. If we're looking at something like of this magnitude, there's nothing of this magnitude since that moment where we pumped all the way back here at the end of 2024, beginning of 2025. You can kind of see it stayed there for a pretty decent amount of time. So that is that's pretty good, but it was almost an instant pump and then literally immediately dumped. And it's been dumping literally since then. So literally since the end of last year all the way till now, Baby Doge has literally been dumping. Literally lost all of its gains, slowly but surely bled out. And now we're kind of seeing us going back up again here. But remember, Baby Doge does this all the time in waves, so it can for sure bleed out from here. So I definitely want people to know that, hey, it can bleed out from here, but it could also keep running. But eventually it's going to hit that point where it bottoms out and then it bleeds right out again. So guys, you got to remember inside of Baby Doge, I know a lot of people say that they're going to hold and keep holding. This happens every single time. Literally after it pumps and has a major pump like that, it always immediately dumps. Like somehow the money magically leaves, and it happens every single time, and it goes back to the same price every single time. I want people to realize this. You can't hold forever. You can't. There's some things where you can hold forever, but typically altcoins and meme coins, a lot of them you can't hold forever. And it's sad to say that Baby Doge is one of those that you cannot hold forever. Like there's certain ones that you can hold and keep holding, and it probably will keep trending up. Like Dogecoin. Like Dogecoin is down a lot, but you got to think like Dogecoin had a huge parabolic rise, and then it dropped down to a bottom, but it did it once, right? And now it kind of dropped down to a lower level, like around 16 cents, but it is trending back upwards. But it's kind of fishy whenever you look at a lot of these meme coins. Like a lot of times they bottom and then they have their average trading price, right? And Baby Doge its average trading price is about 8Z1 to 8Z15. And that's typically what Baby Doge likes to do. 8Z1, well, really 9Z9 to like 8Z15. So, yeah, anything around that area is typically a good buy because then you can make money on the way up and then sell on the way down. But remember, you cannot always hold and hold and hold. And like I said, I'm not telling anyone to buy right now, and I'm not telling anyone to sell right now because I know exactly what y'all are gonna do. You're gonna blame me. You're gonna be like, "Oh, you said to sell," which I never tell anyone to sell. But people are like, "You said to sell, and this joint pumping," and now you lost. And now you lost the opportunity to make more money. But I never tell people to sell. And then you got the people that say, "You said to buy," and it started crashing. And then like, I never told anyone to buy either. And then they bought, and then they blame me because now they're losing money. So, like I said, I'm not telling anyone to buy. I'm not telling anyone to sell. The problem is that people don't watch the full videos. So they hear me saying, "Hey, the price might be going up right now," and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy, I'm gonna buy," and then they're like, "Marcelo said to buy, and now it's going down." No, Marcelo said that it could be going up, but if we get some type of news that could make it drop, then it could drop. And if Bitcoin goes down, it could pull everything down. So right now we are looking a little bit bearish because we are overbought, but we're still in bullish territory because you can see with this consolidation, like we still got a lot of buying volume. We still got a lot of buying going on here inside of Baby Doge. So we could still go up. And look, this big candlestick right here, that is actually pretty bullish. Like you can see like the candlestick is literally trending upwards. Like our candlestick is at that resistance here at 1800, which can be very bullish. But then you have a contradicting pattern here, which is bearish. The MACD is very, very bearish here because it's oversold. And you can see how the MACD has crossed, and you can also see how those red candlesticks, well, they're not even red because there's not enough volume in Baby Doge, but you can see how these candlesticks here are trending downwards, right? And this is the 4-hour chart. So the 4-hour chart for the MACD looks a little bit bearish. Now the 4-hour chart for the or the 1-day chart, the daily chart for the MACD looks a little bit bullish. You can kind of see it almost looks like it's just getting started, right? So it looks a little bullish on the daily chart, and then when you look at this, like this is a nice candle right here. This kind of shows me that we're probably going to end up trending higher to 2200 when you look at the daily chart. You got to look at all the charts. So on the daily chart, we do look bullish here. Looks like we're going to be shooting up here to the 2200 area. And it also looks like the MACD is just getting started here for the bulls. So it does look bullish on the daily chart for the MACD. And then it looks bearish on the 4-hour chart for the MACD. And when I say that, it could easily turn bullish on the 4-hour chart. And then this could easily cross back and go back upwards for another wave of bullish candlesticks here on the MACD. Like this does happen quite often actually. And you can see how it happened here with the bearish candles. You thought that it would go up. You thought it would go up right here, and then nope, it just went right back to bearish. And then it kind of the same thing here. So there's a possibility that it could continue to rise upwards. So definitely be cautious of that. Now the 30-minute chart is very bullish. Look at this. This is very bullish. A 30-minute chart. It actually looks like it's about to break at any minute now, like as I'm making this video, and probably leading into the next day. It probably will be ending up going up to 8Z 2050 and then eventually up to 2200. And you can see the MACD is also curving upwards, but the volume is actually lower than all of these other points. So going into tomorrow, Trump said that he's going to be making a post. That's going to be his biggest post ever. It might pump the stock market, and if it pumps the stock market, it's also going to pump crypto if it does pump. So if everything pumps because of Trump does whatever he does, then literally it could take off. But this is bullish. Look at how the lows are just getting higher and higher and higher, and the high is also at its all-time, not all-time, but the high is at its past daily all-time high. The high is getting higher here. So it is getting higher, and that's actually a pretty bullish sign. You see the last time we were here, we were about to break out, but we got rejected. Let's see if we get rejected again. We'll be seeing that literally within the next hour or two. We'll be seeing that. By the time I put this video out, you're probably going to end up seeing the results of it, so it doesn't really matter. But also, 15-minute chart looks bullish as well. This whole pattern right here is very, very, very bullish. So I don't care what nobody says. This right here is the most bullish pattern that you can see at this current moment. It looks very, very, very bullish. Now it can crash, right? Like I said, Trump is like controlling the market right now. The market is literally controlled by news that Trump creates with tariffs and all this other stuff. And tomorrow there's going to be some big news being announced. Obviously, this is going to have is going to be settled by tomorrow, whether this is bullish or negative. So you're probably going to end up seeing it by the time I put this video out. But still, like, Trump is controlling this market at the moment. When you look over here on the 5-minute chart, it looks slightly bullish as well. Definitely curving upwards here on the MACD. Like I said, baby doge is a little bit too low in volume to use the MACD. So you can't really be too reliant on the MACD chart when you have volume this low. Like, you can even look at the volume bars and they show all green bars because there's really not enough volume to tell between the selling and the buying because it's such a low volume thing here with baby doge. And look, I'm looking at, and the problem with crypto and looking at volume indicators and MACDs and stuff like this is you have all these different exchanges where it's sold on. With the stock market, you just got the New York Stock Exchange, right? And you got the Nasdaq New York Stock Exchange. It's not that many avenues where you're looking at different SPYs. You're looking at different Reddit stocks or different Google stocks. You're looking at one stock. But for crypto, you're looking at multiple exchanges for that one crypto. So you're looking at the volume only on OKX. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at the volume on OKX. But crypto is so complicated that we have volume on OKX, we have volume on MEXC, CoinEx, Poloniex, Bybit, Gate.io, HTX, KuCoin, BitGet, Bitmart, Biofin, Bitaza, KCEX, HTX, KCEX again. And then we also have Binance. Like, we have all these different avenues to see, what it's doing. So that's the problem when you're trying to track volume and stuff with crypto. You can't really do it because there's too many exchanges. So when you're doing this technical analysis, you really can't rely on indicators like the volume or the MACD. So yes, the MACD might look bullish right now, but this is just the OKX exchange. All the exchanges together might look bearish on the MACD, and that's just the truth of it. Is there's too many exchanges to track when you're looking at this thing. So that's why I like to look at stuff like this, because it does look bullish, because in general all of the exchanges are going to follow each other. But the problem with that is the exchange are like the volume might be low on OKX but high on KuCoin. It might be high on KuCoin or high on OKX and low on KuCoin and vice versa. So you never know with that. But what I am seeing here is it looks like it's bullish, like it's about to take off. So that's what I'm going with. I'm going with bullish right now. It definitely looks bullish. But I'm telling you guys right now, when it hits the fan, it hits the fan quick for Baby Doge. Baby Doge always loses all of its gains. I'm sorry to say that, but Baby Doge loses its gains. It's just a fact of the matter with Baby Doge. I am not a delusional person, especially when I'm trading. You have to be honest with yourself when you're trading. And this, since 2021, is not a good chart for people who want to hold and keep holding forever. This is a very good chart for traders. This is a very good chart for traders. If you're a trader, this right here is what you want to see. Like, this is a beautiful chart for traders. You can make so much money on even the little moves during the days. You can make so much money. Like, I don't think people understand this. Like, so much money could be made on the trades during the days like this. Where was the last support at for this? Like, for instance, like this rise right here when it was going down, where was the last support here? Well, I would have immediately known just by looking at it. I was like, where did it drop before it took off? That's where it's going to pull back to. Like, this is the type of stuff you got to look for when you're trading, because it's actually very simple to track. This was the last area it pulled back to right before it pumped. So this is the area I would be looking at to buying and riding the wave upwards, because that's where I would be looking at on the pullback. And then when you look at a larger chart, like going over to the 4-hour chart, you're probably going to notice that this is a common level for Baby Doge to have resistance at. And if it's not on that level, it's around that level. So when you look back at it, you're actually like, wait, 1679? Yeah, around that level is typically resistance and support zones. Even if it doesn't land exactly on it, it's always around that level that you get these significant zones. So definitely want to pay attention to that. Even if we look over here on the daily chart, we're still going to see something very similar. But anyways, that doesn't matter. People can do what they want there. I just kind of want to show what it usually does. Hey, like I'm saying, you guys got to be careful. You guys got to be extremely careful for all of you that like to hold and buy and hold. You don't really want to do that with Baby Doge. Baby Doge tells you They even told everyone that they didn't make this coin for people to get rich. They said they made it to help dogs and to also help themselves get rich. But they didn't say that part. But they said that they made it to help dogs, not to help people get rich. And I'm pretty sure they got rich off of this coin too. So I don't understand why people are still holding and holding and holding and not trading when the developers are literally they're like the developers probably already got rich. Like you guys gotta get with the times with this. You gotta get with the program. Like Baby Doge is showing you what it's about. It's showing you what it's about. If you start seeing Bitcoin crashing, Baby Doge is more than likely gonna crash unless we get listed to KuCoin or not KuCoin. Unless we get listed to Coinbase or Crypto.com or Kraken, then we're obviously gonna break away from that trend. But if not, we're gonna trend down with Bitcoin. So you definitely want to pay attention to it. Me personally, I would be selling out around this area if I got in around this area because this alone is a pretty nice gain. And when you're trading, you don't always want to go for the most gains. Like even though it might keep going, like it might go to like 8Z3, 8Z4, 8Z5, 8Z6, maybe 7Z1. But when you're trading, you don't want to go for the home run every time. You want to get constant gains like this. You want to constantly see these 50% gains. You can constantly see these 15% gains or 50% gains in crypto, right? You can see this, but when you get this, you got to take those gains. You have to take them. You can't just leave them on the table. And quite frankly, not even just those gains. Like I would be looking at this right here. Like I would have happily and gladly bought at 8Z1, right? And then I would have gladly sold earlier. Like look, this is the 7th. I would have gladly bought around 8Z1 and then on the 7th and then sold on the 12th right here at about 8Z 1240, and that is a 23% gain. I would have gladly did that. And then the price would have went down. And then I would have bought the dip. And then guess what? As I bought the dip, I would have happily held this and then probably ended up selling it right here just for that little 14% gain. And then a few days later, I realized, oh, wait, it's not going down. It's hitting that support. It's probably going to go up again. And I would have bought it at the same price just because, you know, I like to lock in my gains. And then I would have ended up selling it here around the 17%. And then when it went down, I probably would have not bought the dip there because it's too high. It's too expensive at that point because I just know how Baby Doge moves. Then it would have went up, and then I would have been like, man, I missed the gains. I'm not gonna just hop in and do FOMO because that's not how I do it. And then when it went down, and would have been like, I told you so. And then it would be at that same price that I didn't want to buy it and be like, nah, it's still too expensive for me. And then it would have went down even more. And then I'd be like, okay, now it's a little bit cheaper, so now I probably want to buy it. And then it would have went all the way up from 1231 to here, and I probably would have sold before 50%, honestly. Like this 30% mark, I probably would have sold here. Like I'm just being honest. And then I would have missed the extra 20%. But I made that extra 20% all the way back here through all of these trades. And that is the importance of this. You can make the same that you can make long term, short term, if you just do it at the right times. So that's what I'm saying. Like you don't want to always hold Baby Doge because it's not going to work. Baby Doge does not operate like that. Now you could hold it. You could continue to hold this and it could go up to 8Z6. It could go up to 7Z1. But do you really want to chance it when time and time again it pumps, it dumps, time and time again? I'm not telling no one to buy. I'm not telling no one to sell. And quite frankly, right now is a tricky moment. It's a 50-50 chance. Like you could sell it and then it could keep pumping, or you could continue to hold and then it could start dumping. So right now is a 50-50 point right now. So I am not telling no one what to do. Like you can do what you want, but it's 50-50 at this moment. Like Trump has all the cards in his hand. He says one dumb thing, everything's going down. And he's about to say something tomorrow. And there's a 50% chance that he says something dumb. And there's a 50% chance that he says something smart and that he has a good trade, that he actually has a good trade deal because he said he has something going on. So he might actually have something good to announce tomorrow. But whatever he says, it's going to heavily influence the market. And if it influences it in a good way, Baby Doge, you can bet it's going up to 2,200, right? And then probably even higher than that because the next resistance is all the way at 8Z3. Obviously, there's some minor resistance levels, but the next major resistance, 8Z3. And I just spotted a minor resistance levels for you people that want to watch when it starts pumping. This is a minor resistance level, and you can actually see it. We came back here, had resistance, here, resistance, here, resistance, here, resistance, right on the dot. It's right on the dot right here, right on the dot right here. and then it's also right on the dot all the way back here. These are the ones you want to pay attention to where it's right on the dot. Some of them are just around these areas where it starts to kind of slow down. You also want to pay attention to those. That's what makes it a minor resistance area and not a major one. So you definitely want to pay attention to those minor resistance areas. And then you got more levels back here where it actually has stopped near that level and actually increased selling near that level as well. So you can see support right around that level, support here, a little bit of support, but it went a little bit lower, resistance, but it was a little bit higher. So this is a very, I guess you could say minor, but it's also significant to the baby doge charts. So you definitely want to pay attention to that. But yeah, if we break out tomorrow and go past 2200, that next level that you're really going to want to look for is 2750 to 2800. So if we go like this, past the Fibonacci at 2200, start looking for 2750 and 2800, and then if it passes, start looking for their 8Z30. And if it just keeps running, I would want to get out around here or here. So if it keeps running because Trump says something smart tomorrow and it gets past here, and then you see it getting past 2200, probably not going to want to sell until 2750 because that's when you're really going to benefit from all your gains and all your long time holding. So 2750, 2800, 30, and 20 and 8Z30. But yeah, and this is the importance of like watching the whole video, because like some people probably just watched the beginning of the video when I talked about the MACD, how it was looking bullish, but you can't really rely on it. And some people were also probably looking like how I also mentioned the bearish scenario here, because as we made this video, rewind the video. Like if you actually look at this area on the MACD, it was not crossing like this. It was not about to cross. Like let me say this. Look, it crossed downwards, and you can see this one was also crossing upwards, right? Or also crossing downwards. But this blue line, look at how it's doing like a Nike check mark. It's literally doing like the Nike check mark, and it's going up. Like this blue mark right here literally just happened as we were making the video. The curving upwards part, like this part been going down, but this right here started going up as we were making the video, which is actually kind of confirming the bullish scenario. And I actually remember rewind the video how I was like, hey, this candlestick is higher than all of the rest of the candlesticks, and it's a green buying candlestick. The candlesticks are increasing, the lows are getting higher, and the highs are getting higher. This is a bullish signal. Rewind the video. I also mentioned that was a bullish signal. But what was looking bearish was the MACD on the other time frames. But now look at what it's doing, curving upwards as we're making the video. So this is probably going to end up being bullish. If you're one of the people that, well, not, if you're still watching, like obviously you watch the whole videos. But for the people that only watch like the beginning of the video, we're gonna be laughing at them because like the kind of the point of these videos, I like to do them around these times when we got a lot of movement, because I get the videos out quick. Like I'm making the video now, but I'm getting this video out within 30 minutes. Trust me. It's what 10:51 p.m. I'm gonna get this video out by about 11:30. If you watch the whole video, yeah, you're gonna see I get these videos. This is all I got for you all today. Hit the like button and subscribe. I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna get it out by 11:30, possibly 11:40. But yep, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this financial advice. I'm about to get this video out. Anyways, I'll be back with another video.